Happy Earth Day, everybody. While we have so much horrible things going on in the world today, we've got to remember what April 22nd is. It's Earth Day. And I pulled up this article. And yes, it's from Al Jazeera. And here we go. The Earth versus Capitalism. Unfortunately, as of Earth Day 2017, capitalism is winning the war as it has been waging against the planet. During one of the numerous failed attempts to establish himself as an environmentalist, New York Times foreign affairs columnist Thomas Friedman enthusiastically reported in 2010 that, in honor of Earth Day on April 22nd, the United States Navy had test-flown a fighter jet powered by 50-50 blend of conventional jet fuel and Camelina aviation biofuel made from pressed mustard seeds. In other words, that's mustard gas. Okay? Armed with this and other bits of trivia, Friedman concluded that the U.S. military was thus in fact on the front line of the battle for a clean earth. Never mind that mustard seeds are not. The U.S. Defense Department remains one of the top polluters on the planet. To be sure, the neoliberals' media's toxic alignment with military and corporate agendas produces lucrative returns for those involved. And as long as the arms industry and other pillars of the international capitalist order remain healthy, the long-term health of Earth and its inhabitants matters little. Eco-friendly veneers. As Earth Day comes around once again, hold on, I have to pause. Okay, so I'm just going to be emotional if I have to be. Okay, as Earth Day comes around once again this April 22nd, the powers that be appear rather committed to staying on the self-destructive course. Lest anyone get too depressed, however, there are plenty of cheery non-antidotes to environmental calamity to distract from impending auto-annihilation. Conscious easing mechanisms abound beyond those cute little mustard seeds that endearingly endow the business of imperial devastation with a veneer of eco-friendliness. These range from pledges of corporate sustainability to green branding strategies and marketing techniques to carbon footprint reduction ploys by which, for example, purchasers of airline tickets and other high-polluting services can pay extra to magically forgive the environmental impact of their earthly activities. In a recent email to me, U.S. evolutionary biologist Rob Wallace, author of Big Farms Make Big Flu, addressed the, here's a word I don't know, farcical. Oh, well, I'm going to ask Cortana. Farcical, okay. Farcical, that's what it's called. Of or resembling a farce, especially because, well, it says absurd over here. Okay. Oops. Anyways. One more time. Okay. Farcical. Of or resembling a farce, especially because of absurd or ridiculous aspects. Nature of capitalists remedies to the crisis. Business plans aimed at profiting off increasing environmental efficiencies would be laughable if they weren't so damn dangerous, writes Wallace. For one thing, better and cheaper extraction, increasing efficiency per unit currency invested, selects for greater exploitation, often until a resource is exhausted. Given that capitalism's underlying logic renders it inherently unsustainable in the long term, it would see that the system itself is utterly illogical, at least from the point of view of, the survival of humankind. Environmental destruction, Wallace explains, has been stitched into the fabric of capitalism's metaphysics from its very beginning. While the global evolution of capitalism has essentially been a process of stripping the biosphere bare. Yeah, happy Earth Day. Now as the destruction of environments proceeds apace, what's still left becomes more valuable, and the resulting competition turns only fiercer, pursued under the guise of saving the environment. Max Agile, a researcher in rural development of Cornell University, concurs that the history of capitalism has been a history of environmental spoliation. Let's see what that means. I'm sure it doesn't mean anything good, you guys. The action of ruining or destroying something. And many of the actual productive industries of capitalism rely on damaging the environment. For example, the trillions of dollars tied up in the expectation of burning the world's physical stock of hydrocarbons. In an email to me, Agile outlined two basic tendencies of capitalism. The first being to expand or make larger the material base of production from which it draws its surplus. Second, meanwhile, is to discount the future precisely because by robbing from the future, one can expand the material-based production in the present. Given that capitalism's underlying logic renders it inherently unsustainable in the long term, it would seem that the system itself is utterly illogical. Boy, I think I just said that. Okay, anyways, let's go down. Here we go. War on Nature. Happy Earth Day. Luckily for those who would dispense with logic altogether. Okay, I see where this is going, but I'm going to read it anyway. A godsend has arrived in the form of U.S. President Donald Trump, whose claims to fame include having argued that the climate change in a Chinese orchestrated hoax. And if you think Donald Trump gives one shit about the environment, you're crazy. Okay, he's a puppet too. The new head of state has wasted little time cultivating an environment in which reality is whatever Trump himself deems it to be at any given moment. Regarding the potential fallout of the Trump presidency on the physical environment, Time magazine noted on April 12th that, since taking office, Trump has moved to gut Barack Obama's signature climate change regulations since executive orders to aid the fossil fuel industry and installed the critic of the EPA as its head. Of course, not everyone is resigned in a world war on nature. Okay. Agile brings up the indigenous movements against extraction, pollution, capitalism, agribusiness, monocrop forestry, and other disruptive patterns, natural reactions, no doubt to predatory and fundamentally existential threats. Ah, boy. Basically, The rest, you got the point. While we're supposed to be sitting here celebrating Earth Day, our Earth is being destroyed. So, okay. I better end it here before I start crying. Thank you for watching, and happy Earth Day. Peace.